everyone, welcome to the third episode and to the listeners and the viewers. So, today I have a very special guest, which is out of the paradigm of the last two episodes, so something different for you all. So, I know her as Darwin's Bitch on Twitter, and I think my first question to her is going to be why her name is Darwin's Bitch, but she's Tejaswini. She's a MBBS student. She's in a second year, I think so, if I'm
Right.
right. So yeah, she's here to talk about her experiences about NEET and before NEET, after NEET. So this is going to be a very neat episode.
Yes.
So I hope you're enjoyed. And so Tejaswini, why is your name Darwin's bitch? Let's get into that.
Okay. So during 12th standard was the first time ever we were taught about evolution, evolutionary biology, and Darwin's kind of like the main character when it comes to evolution. So I was really fascinated by that chapter, and then I really became very interested in the whole thing. So then all my usernames changed to like Darwin, Darwin, Darwin everywhere. So it just kind of stuck
Did
since
you read
12th
the
standard.
original book?
No, no, I did not. I wanted to find a copy, but I was not able to get my hands on one.
Okay, okay. So my leading question is, so you chose, when did you decide you wanted to do medicine? When was the first, when did it hit you first?
Since forever, like, since I can remember, since you start thinking about careers or even start thinking about what I want to be when I grow up, it's been so. My mom is a dentist, right? And her clinic is right, it's in my premises only. So it's right below our house. So as a kid, I would just spend a lot of free time just spending time in her office, like watching her do her thing. And I would like put on her white coat and everything. So then I think that's how it got into my head, the idea of that profession. And then maybe that's been maybe like one or two phases where I might have deviated. Like, oh, maybe I want to do like journalism or law, but that was very short, like just for like a
Okay.
month or two. But otherwise, it's consistently just been like it was MBBS or nothing for me. Like
Okay.
that was it.
But like
I was like, I'll
every
get a seat.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Go on, go on. Yeah.
I was like, so normally for NEET entrance exams, people in my batch, they gave NEET, they gave a MBBS entrance exam. That was NEET. Then they gave other entrance exams as well for BSc courses. And I didn't give anything but NEET, not because I was confident in my capabilities, but because, like I said, it was MBBS or nothing for me. So I was like, if
Okay.
I don't get it right this time, it'll be next time, but it's it for me.
Okay. So what like this is fascinating, but to get a deeper insight into why you chose it, my question would be what part of the job fascinates you the most? Like, is it helping people or is it just the notion of, being a doctor wearing a white coat? Because you mentioned that when you were telling your story. Or is it something more than that? Because
Right.
usually when I talk to doctors or someone who's studying medicine, the Gisapita jawab is that, I want to help people or
Mm-hmm.
I was really interested. Like that side of empathetic side of me is a major force behind medicine. So what was
Mm-hmm.
that for you?
Okay. So number one is would be I'm a very like curious person. Like ever since I've been a kid, I've always, like doing stuff that's not in my portion. Like I
Hmm.
like so that I'm fascinated with the human body. Like that was always my thing. That it's crazy. Like I think it's genuinely magic of how all of that works. So I genuinely love studying my subjects, which is what makes it easier. You know,
Hmm.
and um, so I'm also like a very like a overthinker in the sense that I want to like sometimes I just go like, okay, the world is so fucked up, yeah, I wish I could do something, you
Okay.
know. So, but it's always something like what it was always like, what can I do? Because it's like politics karu, to change, make a difference. But then I was like, no, I'm not set for politics. What
Mhm.
should I do that I can like actually, even if it's a small change, that I can somehow make a change. Like I need to do something that is hands on.
Right.
I'm not like patient that I can just start something. But like I feel like becoming a doctor is actively every single day I will be making a difference. It may be in a
Okay.
small way.
Mm-hmm.
It might not be like there might be other ways to change the world,
Mm-hmm.
but this is my kind of way, more like hands on and quick, like,
Okay, so
like short.
basically, you wanted to see the results of the work you put in rather than doing something and it is going to get recognized centuries later.
It's not about recognition. It's like I will work, right? And at the end of the day, I can have some hope that, yeah, this is going somewhere. It may not, like I said, it may not be something big, but this is how I move forward, knowing that, okay, that I'm doing something, because I always knew that I wanted to do something,
Mm-hmm.
but this, along coupled with my fascination, MBBS was the best way to get my goal of like, I need like a hands-on way of actively making a difference.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So I have one question on a tangent.
Okay.
You said the whole human body fascinates you. So one of the question I am fascinated by is, do you believe in God? Do you believe in God, or do you believe in like agnostic? Like, is there is something superior?
Okay. So this might be like very circumstantial because my upbringing has been very like non-religious.
Mm-hmm.
My dad is not a big believer, so my parents never forced me like, okay, go for this religious event, go for that, or I never saw it happening that much. In my grandparents' house, yes, but not with my parents. So that's how I grew up, not very heavy into the whole idea of religion and God. But I'm not a non-believer either. Like, I like to think that something, like, I like to believe that the universe, like, there's something in the universe, or the universe as a whole is something I like to believe in
Got
as
it.
a power, as some energy.
Got it. Got it. That's pretty cool. Yeah. So we'll come back to 12th as you mentioned. So
Mhm.
talk us through your process of how that was choosing, like going through the prep or choosing that you want to go through the prep. How quick was that decision? Or did you think anytime, like after 10th standard, there is a small gap in which
Mhm.
usually students they do aptitude tests or they take advice from their relatives, like what should I do? I'm interested in, let's say I'm interested in math, so people tell you do engineering. So what was that phase like for you? Was there any backup other than medicine or biology? And how did you go about it?
So I never did any aptitude tests because I was like, I don't want to know if I'm made for this or
Mhm.
not because this is what I want to do. And very like, so the irony is that the subjects I was really good at, I used to be really good at math. It's
Okay.
ironic, and like
Mhm.
I want to become a doctor. So it kind of didn't make sense. But yeah, I didn't take any aptitude tests, and I didn't. When you're starting 11, 12, you don't really think about. No one really thinks about
Right.
backups. You start thinking about it much later when you're like, okay, this is hard.
Mm-hmm.
I need to have a backup. But I also like attribute it to like I come from a good, well-to-do, privileged background. So like I never felt the need ki, like I knew I had my parents' support.
Mm-hmm.
That they will be able to help me. Or like they were like, do what you want to. They were never like, you can't do this, you can't do that. They were firm that you have to do it well, but whatever you want to do.
Okay.
So,
So there was no pressure as such, or there was no nudging from anyone. It was
no, there was pressure. So uh, it was very much like, listen, you can pick whatever you want,
Mhm.
but whatever you pick, you have to do it well.
Okay,
So
got it. Got it. Got it. Got it.
yeah.
So if I have to share a personal anecdote, so while I was when I was selecting what I want to do after 10,
Hmm.
so I really wanted to do research, like pure research in
Hmm. My God.
chemistry or physics. So I think growing up, I used to read a lot of books about the universe and all. So I was like, okay, astrophysics. I think that is my passion. Yeah, that is going to be it. But when I jumped into 11, 12, I was like, okay, this is real physics, and I'm struggling here. So yeah, maybe it is not cut out for me. So yeah, coming back to 11, 12, how was your experience preparing for NEET or the classes you attended? How was that?
Overall, I would say it was pretty bad.
Okay.
Like it caused me, like I have a lot of bad memories that used to, like, it even affected me afterwards. Like even if I would think about it 2 years later, I would like get, like just shudders thinking about it. But now it's been a while, so now I've like moved on and now I can talk about it. And okay, so like a little about me. I was the kid, like till my 10th standard, I was like the topper kid. Like, you know, like
Okay.
have to like
You
get
are
good. It was my
consistently.
personality. It was my personality. Like
Are you a
that's all I knew
perfectionist?
about.
Are you a perfectionist?
Uh Maybe in some
Are you
areas.
affected by things when things are not in your control?
Yeah. Yeah, I was. Yeah, I am like that. But no, now I'm not like, so growing up, like I said, I was like, I used to give all those competitive exams, do really well on them,
Mhm.
did well in my 10th. Like I had attached my personality was I get
Good
like really
grades.
good marks.
Yeah.
And then 11th and 12th, it's not that I wasn't, it's not that it was hard for me, but the environment wasn't for me. So then I
Okay.
just sort of gave up.
Mhm.
So I wasn't able to perform well. So I was like, okay, so if I don't get good marks, then who am I?
Mhm.
Because I didn't get good marks during my test in 11th and 12th. I didn't perform well in NEET. So the whole 2 years, I was just like, okay, all my life I've just been getting good marks and now I'm not. So
Mhm.
who am I?
Yeah. So, do you feel that if you had gotten less in 10th or you hadn't been like, that is what I think about sometimes. So, I never was a topper. I was like, okay, above average, you can say. But in 10th, I came third and also there was a lot of, rush and excitement that, okay, I think I have talent. But then slowly I realized like those marks didn't really mean anything. Like it was just how well you can remember things and you on the test
Mhm.
day you can write them down. So do you feel that if even if you had gotten less marks, you would have been better prepared for 11, 12 for the realization wouldn't have been so hard.
Uh, maybe my parents' expectations would have been lesser and society's expectations for me, because entering first few days of 11th, 12th, all the teachers ask, oh, how much did you all get in 10th standard? And then when they heard that, okay, isko 97% mila, and they're like, okay, then they just sort of like set their eyes on, okay, like let's pick on her,
Mhm.
you know. And I even during 11th and 12th, I was good in my class. Like
Okay.
during when the teacher was teaching, I
Mhm.
would pick up really well. So then that got the expectations high. Like they would tell my
Mhm.
parents that, we don't know why she doesn't get marks, because we really see her answering in class, or like, getting like in chemistry you have to like solve sums. So like I said, math was my strong suit. So this one teacher, he like called my mom and he's like, like she really has the potential, like just like I think she's not studying or she's not trying hard enough. So then my parents' expectations, when a teacher tells you that, my mom was like, oh my God, like we have to get, like you
Right.
have to crack NEET. So the teachers' expectations were, because of how I used to be in class, they couldn't like realize, okay, so she's so receptive in class. What happens to her in exams?
So
So their expectations
what
were
do you
raised.
think
So
what what was the difference? Like if you personally, what do you think? Where were you like not able to convert it into exams, whatever you were learning in class?
Uh, so 11th, I was still doing okay. 12th standard, overall, the environment just got to me. So I
Okay.
started comparing myself to people, not
Mm-hmm.
realizing that everyone is different in their own way.
Mm-hmm.
So just because someone has done 500 sums doesn't mean that I can understand it in 100 sums. Or just
Mm-hmm.
so automatically I would give up. I wouldn't even try. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't work hard enough because I was just like, what's the point? These people are better than me. And I just like inside, and then I also developed because of 12th, which then like I've taken help for it. I developed like anxiety and other like mental like health disorders. And then I like I could not give exams because I was
Mm-hmm.
like in my head still comparing, like, oh, these people have prepared so much, these people have prepared so much. Like that's not what your thoughts should be when you're giving
Right.
a test.
Yeah.
You
Especially
should
a
be focusing,
competitive exam.
yeah, you should be focusing on the question.
Mm-hmm.
You should not look at the question and think, okay, everyone else can answer this because they've prepared more than me.
Right.
you know.
Right.
So that was my only thought process. Everyone is prepared more than me. I am like, I just gave up. So I
So
was like, it's not gonna happen, you know.
was the comparison intrinsic, like it came from inside of you, or the environment what you're talking about, like it did?
Both. So intrinsically also I was down. I used to compare myself because, like I said, I had attached my personality
Hmm.
to marks and
Right.
success,
Yeah.
academic success. It was that. Then, you know, so something about entrance classes, why I think they're so bad. They foster that kind of toxicity and that comparison. You know, they
Hmm.
send you. So we have something called Sunday test, which if you've been in
Right.
entrance classes, you know, every
Yeah.
Sunday. So the results of Sunday test, they are messaged to your parents,
Yeah, I know.
and they give your marks, and they give the top three people ka marks.
Hmm.
So inevitably, just, you know, like, there's a comparison,
Right.
you know. And then there was a teacher who used to constantly compare me to other students. Oh,
Hmm.
like, look at that student, you know, she gets so many marks. Why don't you? Like, she tries this hard. Why can't you? And I was like, I can't. Like, it's, you know, like, it's not happening. Or like,
Hmm.
I lost, I think, 11, 12 subjects, contrary to what people might think. They're not dry. They're really interesting.
Hmm.
I enjoyed all three. Like, people hate on physics. I really liked it. Physics, chemistry, and bio. But like, I realized that I liked it too late. Like,
Okay.
I ignored chemistry for 1.5 years because I just heard everyone say, "Oh, it's so tough. It's so like dry. You know, organic
Hmm.
chemistry."
Right.
And then later on, I was just like, okay, I just accepted it. Everyone said it's horrible, so it's horrible. I will not talk, like, think about it. And then
Okay.
when I read it, I was like, okay, hey, I actually like this.
There is a
So
lot of
despite,
logic to chemistry as well. Like people make fun of it because like whenever there's a question, it's only on exceptions in chemistry. So in my
yeah,
class, whenever the question was answered, it's like ये exception है, ये याद कर लो. You have to remember
yeah,
this. But it's
I
really
remember that.
interesting. Yeah.
So 11, 12, all three subjects were actually really interesting, but yeah, so I just realized it too late, and I wasn't able to like get that interest
Hmm.
into my exams, you know, for some reason. Mainly, I attribute that to I gave up because of the environment. You know,
Okay.
like, people would sit there for like hours and just like, so it's so toxic that, you know, you have your books, right, that you solve,
Hmm.
MCQ books of different
Yeah.
different publications. So there's a
Hmm.
competition about, okay, this publication is harder, you know. So I what book are you using? You know, if you're using
Right.
this book, you're stupid.
Hmm.
Only the smart people can use this publication ka book.
Right.
So there was that kind of competition. And then there were some people who would not ask their doubts in front of other people. They
Hmm.
would go personally to the sir's office and ask their doubts because they didn't want others to know what they were solving or what was the difficulty.
That's
So it
pretty
was it
common.
was
Like
re-
I've come across that a
yeah,
lot.
yeah,
Or
and I was like,
usually it's like you ask the person who's sitting beside you if it's your difficulty, and you don't ask it in class. You ask it to the person beside you, and he's like, no, even I
yeah,
don't know. Then both of them go to the teacher
teacher, yeah,
afterwards. Yeah.
yeah. So it was so competitive that I just like stopped trying in
Okay.
12th standard. 11th, I was still in a good place. But then, like, I was like, no, I can do this, you know, why not? But then 12th, I just got so like, wow, everyone has worked too hard. I can't do this sort of
Hmm.
attitude.
Hmm. Do you feel that, like you said, there is comparisons in entrance classes, which I have come across as well. So me and another friend of mine, we were from the same school. So the friend of mine used to go to the same class in 10th also. So I joined the class in 11th for 11th, 12th, and he continued. So basically, the sir created this fake rivalry between us, and he's like, he can do much better than you. He's been coming here for 2 years more than you. You should have come as well. So that was kind of toxic and made me miss, like, as you said, the Sunday test. So I've missed a lot of Sunday tests out of that fear that I'll get less marks.
Same, same. In 12th, for two, dude, hey, I resonate with this because in 12th, for 2 straight months, I was so scared and anxious that my parents had to take special permission that I'm just not giving the Sunday test because I was so scared. Like, I was just unable to give them.
No, after a point in time, I used to like tell my parents that initially it started as I'm not feeling well. Then my parents were like, okay, you start feeling unwell every Saturday night. Is everything all right? So I was like, yeah, I think uh, I really don't feel like giving tests. But after a point, my parents were like, even if you're unprepared, just we don't care about the marks you get. We get the messages. We know you must be feeling bad, but just give it. Even if you're unprepared, it's just a test. It's not the end of the world. So a lot of help from my parents. But I felt that, 11, 12 wasn't that hard. Maybe the mentors I came across were not the kind of mentors which will help me get successful. So I feel some people actually thrive in the toxic environment when they are pushed
They do.
and they're
People
told
do
that they're
thrive.
not good enough. But then these people apply the same logic to everyone and they don't understand that some people are not that receptive to that kind of strategy. And in that
Right.
case, like creating one good student, you're ruining 99 students. So that is what I feel.
Exactly. Precisely. Yes.
That is what I feel I went through. So that I resonate, like I vibe with you a lot on that. So yeah. Yeah, so how was NEET for you? The
How was
actual
neat?
exam.
So I don't mind saying my marks. I'm not ashamed. So I got 470 out of 720.
Yeah.
So it was a decent, like, it didn't get me any government college. It wasn't a great score. It wasn't a terrible score.
Mm-hmm.
It was like ठीक है, average score, and that was surprising because just in 12th standard I was like mentally ill. I suffered from anxiety. Later on I realized that I might have been in depression too, because I was diagnosed a year
Mm-hmm.
later.
Okay.
So I feel like it may have started at that point only. And so it was just a blur. So I still think that for my mental state and for
Mm-hmm.
my preparation,
Mm-hmm.
they weren't bad marks.
Okay. Yeah,
So I had
that's.
set targets. So 1 month before, I was like, okay, ये like 1 month hai, my preparation. So I set targets for all three subjects
Mm-hmm.
of how much I wanted to get in NEET. So I actually matched my targets in bio and chemistry. I got how much I set. But physics was the third subject. So NEET, you have like three subjects, right? On
Right.
all three consecutively, you solve those papers.
Mm-hmm.
So I did bio, I did chem, and I did decently in both of them. Like, if
Mm-hmm.
out of 470, my marks in physics are like 55.
Oh, okay.
Because that was the third paper I solved, and I just froze. Like, my brain just stopped working.
Okay.
So then I got a 299 in bio, which is it's a decent score. A
Mm-hmm.
114 or 115 in chemistry, again a decent score. And
Mm-hmm.
then physics, a subject I was good at, I just got a 55 because I didn't solve only.
Yeah.
My brain froze.
Yeah, right.
So that's what happened, because there's so much pressure to perform on that one day.
There is
For
a lot.
2 years,
Yeah.
2 years you sacrifice your personality. You sacrifice. I've lost friends. I've lost so much. Like,
you
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 give it all.
basically
Even if you
give up
don't,
everything those for
you
those
give
two
up
years.
everything,
Yeah.
which is so bad. I don't think you should. I wish I had still kept my hobbies going. I
Mm-hmm.
like reading. I wish I had read more books, not isolated. I like cut off from all my, again, I was also like mentally not okay. But
Mm-hmm.
like I cut off all my friends. I
Okay.
stopped going out. So like I was like, so that day I was like, okay, 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
I may not have worked 10 hours a day
Mm-hmm.
like other people, but that doesn't mean that you still haven't given up
It's still
so
two
much for
years
it.
worth of hard work, like
Yeah,
sacrifice and hard work are like
yeah,
accumulating on one 3 hour paper.
yeah.
So
So
yeah.
then by the time the third subject in NEET came around, it was just, I just froze. And I think that happened to so many people, which is why I think your NEET marks are not a testament
Mm-hmm.
of. So I see in my medical college, right? So obviously I didn't get a great college or top college.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in a private college. So I had this notion. So entrance classes, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is the worst thing I would say about entrance classes that they do, is that they set this notion that, so KEM is the best college in Maharashtra,
Mm-hmm.
objectively top 5 in India. So they're like, KEM or nothing.
Right.
You don't get in KEM, you don't get in government college, nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
And later I realized, how can they say that when they haven't even been to any college? Like, they don't know what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
you know. So I came with that notion only that, okay, now I'm going, I was like depressed when I took admission in my college.
Right.
I was like, shit, like I was a topper all my life and now I'm taking admission here. Like I cried for the entire first month of college. I would go home and I would cry.
Did
Yeah, I
you
was like, Tejaswini, like
contemplate giving NEET again, repeating NEET?
I did. So I did because I was like, sure, like I want to do MBBS. I don't want to do anything else. So if I want a government college, I'll give it again.
Mm-hmm.
But my parents, like my mom, so like I said, my like everything that I went through mentally, like
Mm-hmm.
it was I was diagnosed, like I had a serious condition. So that also affects, it just doesn't affect you, it affects your family too, right?
Right.
When
Yeah.
someone in your family is going through severe mental illness. So my mom is like, I cannot put myself through that again. Like she couldn't
Okay.
physically
Mm-hmm.
watch me put myself in that process again. She's like, and here I acknowledge my privilege. My parents were able to pay private college fees,
Mm-hmm.
so that's the only reason I didn't have to repeat. So they're like, we will give you admission in this college. Just like my dad was like, okay, fine, repeat. My
Mm-hmm.
mom was like, listen, we can afford it. And I don't know about you, but I myself, my mom was like, I can't do it
I
again.
can't see you go through it all over again for another year.
Yeah. And she also had to like bear the,
Yeah,
you know,
obviously. Yeah.
your mom, like, that's how it happens. So she's like, like, nothing doing, just take admission. So
Okay.
I actually got admission in a better college than the one I'm in, better objectively just by ranks.
Mm-hmm.
And then I gave it up because it was far from home. And I was like, I'm not in a condition to, because
Right.
I'm still in therapy, I'm still in recovery. Not even in recovery, I'm still going through all of
Mm-hmm.
it. Not the best idea to go miles and miles away from home.
Mm-hmm.
So I picked a college that was still far, but still close to my house that
Okay.
I can visit whenever I
Right.
want.
Right.
So yeah, so like I was very unhappy first month. I like cried every day because entrance classes create this notion that if you're in a private college, you're doomed. Like you'll be a horrible doctor, you know, like if you don't do well in NEET, you're dumb.
Mm-hmm.
It's either KM or nothing.
Do
That
you?
like the best doctors come from
Yeah.
KM
So
or the best
basic.
doctors come from GMC.
A small observation. Did you ever feel that these professors who are preaching that government medical college or nothing, did you ever wonder that if they are like preaching it so much, why are they teaching you? Like, shouldn't they be in the government medical college or shouldn't they be somewhere better than this position to be preaching so much? Did that thought ever
I
cross
mean,
your mind?
so our bio teacher was a former, like was a doctor, non-practicing doctor. He gave
Mm-hmm.
up his practice to teach
Mm-hmm.
classes. So he was from KM.
Okay, fine.
So he only half of our education was his classes were just him telling us it's KM, bro. It's like it's KM or nothing, you know.
Okay.
And the others were physics, chemistry teachers.
Yeah,
So I
right.
guess it's
Yeah,
like I
they.
saw how much money they were making. So
Mm-hmm.
I assume that's why. So it's a lucrative business,
It's
entrance
a very
classes.
lucrative. It's
Very
almost,
lucrative.
it's like one-time investment, then you just keep on making profit. It's
They are
that
very.
easy.
I see how my professors like. They are very well to do. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's but yeah. So that's what they propagated. They're like, So I felt so ashamed
Mm-hmm.
being in a private college, and but as the years pass, like as I mean, my second year is almost over. So it's so not true. Like it's so not true. Like so, I was the first uh, ranked in my college when I took admission. Like
Mm-hmm.
as in, matlab, my
Okay.
NEET
How
marks were
was
the highest.
how was the admission process in a private college? Did they look at your NEET
Admission?
marks or it was just based on whoever can pay can come in?
No, 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 no. It doesn't work like that. Admission is same for both. Like the process is same for both government. It's just one process.
Okay, got it.
It's one process. Whether you
So
either
you
get
went through
government or
like
you don't.
multiple rounds, you had to give your college preferences and all of that, right?
Yeah, right. It's just one process though.
Mm-hmm.
That's the good thing about NEET. It's all streamlined. There
Right.
is no like shady like, oh, this college has its own admission. No,
Mm-hmm.
it's all in one. So yeah. So yeah, I took. Wait, what was I talking
Yeah,
about?
you were first in your college based on
Yeah,
your
so
NEET
I
mark.
had the highest NEET marks in my college.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I thought my marks were bad wherever I come, that I am the first here,
Okay.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
But it's so wrong because so many of my classmates are so intelligent, you
Yeah.
know?
Because
in
you
my
can't
private
judge a
college.
person's intelligence based on like a 3-hour test, right?
3 hour test
Because there are so
on
many
one.
variable factors in that. Maybe the last night they didn't sleep well or they are not in the right frame of mind to give
And
the
I've found
test.
so many like brilliant classmates, or even if they're not brilliant, so what? You don't need to be brilliant to be a doctor. You
Yeah.
need to be hardworking, you need to be passionate. And so many of my classmates, like most of them, they study well. Who
Hmm.
cares about, how much they got in NEET? They know what they're doing right now. They want to be doctors. They
Right.
want to work hard. And I
Hmm.
was like, that's what. And again, I've found like such intelligent people. So, in my head, I used to be like, people who get admission in government are
Hmm.
better than us.
Hmm.
And that's not true. I can guarantee that if I pick out the topper from my MBBS batch,
Hmm.
she'll know just, she's so capable and she's so knowledgeable. She'll know just as much as any kid in a government college does because she works that hard and she is that good,
Right.
you know?
So why do you think
Mm.
people view like the doctors are which are graduating or doing the MBBS from a non like a private college? The notion is, as you said, they are substandard or inferior to the people who went to a government college or got a seat there. Do you think it's just because you paid more money to get in, or just because you couldn't, you are not meritable, like you didn't get enough merit to get into a government college? Is that why?
It's that only, right? It's like society's perception. So I learned this that government college are nothing from my entrance classes and as from my own house as well.
Mhm.
Because I come from a family of just like my mom's side. If
Is
they're an
everyone in
engineer,
your
they're from
family
IIT.
like really good, like academically?
On my mom's side, it's like I'll tell you, it's like no one's a normal engineer. They're only IIT.
Okay,
You know,
okay,
and like there's one of my uncles is considered dumb because he's not from IIT Powai,
okay,
because he's
okay.
from some other IIT. That's the level,
Okay.
like that's
That's your mom's side. Okay, yeah.
yeah, and like all like and this is just an example of how they are. Like you can
Mm-hmm.
imagine, like so this is how my mom's side was. So even my mom had that perception because she herself like is she's a dentist, but she's from a government college.
Mm-hmm.
She's from Nair. So
Okay.
that's what they had. And that's what I had too. That's what everyone in entrance class believed. That's what a lot of people still believe,
Mm-hmm.
actually. But once you're in MBBS, I think you realize that private or government, same portion,
Mm-hmm.
same number of exams, same sort of like uh, passing
Criteria.
failing mark
Right.
criteria, right? So there's that's not a way to judge
Mm-hmm.
really.
Got
And it's also on your like a lot of like being I've learned in MBBS they've taught us. It's also like being a doctor is not just about what all you know. It's about how you are as a person,
it. Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
and how passionate you are,
You have to be a
how much
people's person. Like you have to
you
keep
have
your
to be a people's
problems
person.
aside to listen to other people.
Or it might even come down to whether you're a decent human being or not.
Yeah.
I know people, I don't want to like put it, like badmouth anyone,
Mm-hmm.
but I know people who are complete jerks,
Yeah.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
and very toppers. And I just think that I will not want to go to a doctor who has this kind of behavior towards
Right.
his fellow human beings, towards his friends,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So there's so much to what makes you a good doctor, but up until a point, you only think it's your NEET marks
Mm-hmm.
or some sort of marks.
Yeah.
When it's also your practicals, how
Mm-hmm.
we practicals are very important in
You
MBBS.
have postings,
How,
right?
postings, how
Mm-hmm.
you are in postings. So there's so much that like accumulates to you being a good doctor or not. And it's not just marks basically. So it doesn't matter. It took me a long time to get every day in first year. Like I said, I would cry every day for
Mm-hmm.
the first month that why am I here? I don't want to be here. I didn't make friends for 6 months
Yeah. Okay.
because I was like, I just don't want to be here. So I would just sit and just like not even try to like actively like make friends with people.
Mm-hmm.
Or I would not, I just became a different person. All because I was like, I'm in a private college, or I'm
Right.
in this college where I'm not in the college I thought I would be,
Mm-hmm.
But then it took me so much time. I spoke to so many people. Like I think I attribute a lot of it also to I was very involved in extracurricular activities.
Mm-hmm.
Because of that, I had the chance to interact with like I found mentors. I found like seniors, super seniors, doctors
Right.
or like medical students from other colleges, seniors from other colleges.
Mm-hmm.
And after interacting with all these people, it genuinely, I say this and I will say this to anyone. It does not matter,
Mm-hmm.
which college you come from. It matters what you do, how you study, what knowledge you have. That you can have whether you come from KM, whether you come from any private college. It genuinely does not matter. It's all on you.
Yeah.
You know?
Basically, you can choose to, irrespective of what others think, it is irrespective of all that, it's in your hands. Like, if you want to make something out of it, you will make something out of it.
You will make something out of it.
So, was the
So yeah,
change?
I got off my high horse basically of like, oh, I don't want to be here. It was such a wrong thought, but I was just like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to make friends. I'm not gonna do anything.
Mm-hmm.
I just had such wrong ideas of,
Did you feel
and I
like
like got
dropping
down.
out? Did you feel like dropping out at any point?
No, never, because that wasn't an option, right?
So you were willing to do 5 years on this, like, I don't want to be here. You're willing to grind
Yeah,
out
I
5 years
was.
like that.
I was because I did a lot of extensive research on whether it's possible to transfer,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not. It's not. I still, in first year, I still kept that maybe they changed the rules this year. Maybe I can transfer. But
Mm-hmm.
now I absolutely would not want to transfer because it just makes no
Right.
sense.
Yeah. So the
You know?
change, like you went from, why, like, I don't want to be here, like, I'm better than this, to, like, like, I can do something out of this. Was that change gradual? As you said, you talked to a lot of people, or is there any point in that 6 months where you can put a point to it and say this triggered that change in me?
Not exactly like gradual. Like I said, I looked around a little, like I got over myself. I looked around. I actually spoke to my classmates. All of them had stories of their own, just like I froze
Mm-hmm.
during my
Hello.
Hi, sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
my net disconnected.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine.
So, like I said, so I looked around, I spoke to my classmates, I heard their stories, and I
Mm-hmm.
saw how good they were. So many of my
Mm-hmm.
classmates good at practicals, good at subjects, good at, I studied with some of my classmates. When you teach each other
Yeah,
things,
yeah,
you really see how the other person is. And I was like, wow, like they're great. Like there's so much I can learn from them.
yeah. Right.
So many good habits I can pick up from these people. There
Mm-hmm.
was a lot of that. Then it was a lot of talking to people,
Mm-hmm.
meeting different people from different colleges. And it was like a gradual realization that
Okay.
no, this is not how it works. And then I really thought I was like special. Like I was like, oh, I'm the only person who this has happened to. That, NEET went bad and like, no, it happens to practically everyone.
Yeah. Majority of the, like, percent, like 98% of the people have a bad day while giving an
Yeah,
exam.
exactly. So I stopped thinking I had to really get over myself in that aspect and be like, no, you're not the only person who this has happened to. And and I thought that, I have two options. Either
Mm-hmm.
I can sit and cry for 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
or I can get over it, which I have to, and then if so I was also unhappy. So my college was relatively new as compared to government colleges. So it
Mm-hmm.
didn't have all those societies, the
Right.
clubs or like some sort of thing. So I was like,
Extracurricular things.
yeah, we do have extracurriculars, but
Mm-hmm.
not to the extent that because government colleges are really old and established.
Established. Yeah, right.
Not to that extent. So I was like, maybe I can start something of my
Mm-hmm.
own. Maybe
Right.
I can, like, so what, like I said, I can sit and cry for 4 years or I can do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
So my friend and I, we actually started our own initiative in the
Okay.
beginning of second year, a mentorship program, what we
Okay.
thought would have helped us. So like, that's what I want to keep doing,
Mm-hmm.
so that when I leave college, what I created will still be there, you
Right.
know,
So you're
and
building your
nobody else will have
legacy.
to, yeah, nobody else, I wouldn't call it legacy because it's such a small scale, but like,
Mm-hmm.
like I wish I had the chance to like interact with my seniors, have
Mm-hmm.
some sort of like student mentor, not like teachers as
Got it.
mentors. Yeah, good, fine. Student mentors are better.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I had that problem. Now my juniors don't have that problem.
Right.
So my friend and I, we found people from our batch to help. We created a whole program, like a
Mm-hmm.
small program, but we
Mm-hmm.
really worked on it. So things like this, I was like I said, I can either sit and cry for 4 years or I can do something about it.
So you
So it
took
took me
you
some time.
yeah.
It took me a lot of time to do, like, get over
Mhm.
myself and do something about it, but I did it eventually.
That's pretty cool. Like you took initiative and you went out there rather than most of the people would just say like there's nothing here for me to do and just give it up. That's pretty cool. So one of the notion like one of the observations I've had, like I have a couple of friends who are medicos. Like the battle does not end after NEET. The battle just starts when you get into MBBS. So how has the 2 years been for you? How challenging was it? And like
100%, yeah,
what
100% the battle
takeaways did
starts.
you take from it? Like
Okay, so I don't think I have a takeaway yet because
okay.
I would say I'm still like in my baby steps of
Mm-hmm.
being a doctor. I'm just second year. But like, yeah, the battle really starts after NEET because NEET and MBBS, completely different ball games.
Right.
Completely. Your study methods have to be different. Your approach has to be different.
Mm-hmm.
Completely. Like the same advice you applied for NEET, you cannot apply that for MBBS.
Mm-hmm.
Or someone who might have thrived in like the MCQ format of NEET might probably not like do
But
as well in
yeah,
MBBS.
yeah.
Two different ball games. That is one thing. And what and yeah, but what has remained consistent for me is that I still enjoy my subjects. But
Got it.
except now I'm able to apply that in my exams, which I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't able to do earlier.
Got it.
You know.
So what is PSM? I have heard a lot about PSM and how it just kills people. So what is PSM?
I think it's overhated. I might say this because one of my closest friends,
Mm-hmm.
she's a PSM doctor, and she's
Okay.
really shown me. I've been lucky to have
Okay,
her as
what is
my
the
friend.
full form of PSM? Because I'm lost.
Preventive and social medicine.
Okay. Yeah,
So I
so
haven't studied it properly yet because it's officially a third year subject,
okay.
but they start teaching it in your first year as well. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like because it's India, you know how Indian education system.
Yeah.
So I feel like the problem with PSM, it might not be taught in the best way, you
Mm-hmm.
know, because it might be a dry subject when you have to study it for an exam. But what a lot of people, like a lot of my student mentor, like senior mentors have
Mm-hmm.
told me, is that practically it's a subject you need in your day to day life. A
Right.
doctor needs because it's community medicine. It's the health of the community. It is
Mm-hmm.
your first duty as a doctor. You know,
Right.
it's very basic stuff about like diseases and infections that prevail in the community and
Mm-hmm.
how you can prevent them, how you can act on them. So it's a lot. It's very integrated with your other subjects as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it may be, I think the problem is that it's maybe not taught well because it's a drag in my college.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. It might be like also very boring to study, but I guess maybe if it were taught better, if like luckily I had a friend who helped me change my perspective to it
Mm-hmm.
because she was a PSN doctor, you know. But yeah, maybe I think everyone's perspective towards it and some sort of like fun. It's because it's
Yeah.
a very like hands-on. We have these trips to nearby villages
Okay.
that actually make it sort of like, oh, okay, now I see where I'm applying this.
Mm-hmm.
If
Got
there's more things like that, then I guess people would start enjoying it more.
got it. So what's been your favorite subject so far in 2 years?
Uh, huh. I can't pick. I like all my subjects.
Okay, top
There's,
three. Let's go top three.
okay, so till now I've officially studied 6 subjects,
Okay.
right? They introduce other your final year, third year subjects, but
Mm-hmm.
they just introduce them. There are very less lectures. Officially, I've studied 6 subjects. So anatomy has something called embryology.
Okay.
Okay,
Embryo
so that is
sounds familiar, but is that
yeah. So
related to
embryo is like
embryos?
so how your heart. So it's not just studying your heart. It's embryology is how your heart is developed from scratch.
Okay. Okay.
How
Okay.
every system in your body develops from scratch is what
Okay.
embryology is about. Like
Oh,
literally from scratch to a whole
that's
system.
cool. Yeah,
So
that's
that
pretty
is
cool.
that is extremely cool. So I really enjoyed that. So, but unfortunately, it had a very less weightage
Okay.
in exams.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's fine. It was a cool subject. I really enjoyed it. Like, because I mean, you can imagine that from
Yeah, you
scratch
get to
to a whole
understand
system.
how people are born and how the
Yeah,
process goes.
yeah. So you know how like from one cell you go to a whole human being.
Yeah.
That's embryology, or like just or simple things like how your tongue develops.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that might not sound fascinating, but it
It is
actually
like
really is.
how did like many cells come together and decide this is the formation you're going to take?
Yeah,
How did they
exactly. So
decide this is the composition? This is how we're going to cooperate. That's pretty cool.
and like your organs are complex. So your heart is a, like not as complex. Like all of your organs are complex, but
Mm-hmm.
how are they made?
Yeah.
It's really like amazing. So that was a small part of anatomy, that embryology, that I really enjoyed. I really like my second year subject. I love pathology.
Okay.
Pathology is great.
Mm-hmm.
Then I love pharmacology. That is
Mm-hmm.
medicines, drugs,
Mm-hmm.
all of that. So I really enjoy those. Yeah, those would be top three.
Cool. Which is your favorite virus? In pathology is about viruses, if I'm not wrong.
No, patho is not. Microbiology is about viruses and
Okay, yeah,
bacteria.
right, right. Okay. Yeah, so a personal observation I've seen is people who are pursuing medicine are insane. I feel they're insane. And I think at this hypothesis, I have a couple of uh, not witnesses. Like I can present a few facts. So I have like two or three friends who are doing their medicine, and they have insane amount of mood swings. Like one day they'll be really happy, and the next day they're like, okay, this professor is going to kill me now, and I'm crying. My life doesn't mean anything. So I'm not going to talk to you for a week. So just fuck off. I don't want to talk to you. It goes from that to then like for 3 weeks they'll not say anything. I'm like, okay, they must be doing their own thing. To then they're like, where were you? We didn't talk for so long. So I feel, and also I feel that as an outsider, I don't get to understand what they're going through. That's why I also hypothesize that other people who are in the medicine field tend to marry doctors just because it is more convenient for that relationship to work. What do you think about that?
100%. So I actually write sometimes. I write blogs and stuff. So I wrote an entire thing about this. How it's so like I love what I'm doing, but
Mm-hmm.
it's so isolating and lonely sometimes
Mm-hmm.
because nobody, unless someone's doing MBBS, they don't get it.
Yeah.
You know, like they don't get it. They don't get that. And and I'm not saying that it's the most difficult portion. It's not rocket science. Like I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
my friends who are doing math and physics, it's as tough.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, it's more than difficulty portion wise. It demands a lot of patience and it's just a lot of just like perseverance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because it's very lengthy.
Right.
It's
How
the
physically and mentally challenging has it been for you?
extremely. It's very physically challenging because I don't know what normal college hours are, but we don't get vacations. Where
Mm-hmm.
like we don't get the
Is there a
most of my
hospital
friends.
attached to your college?
Yes, all medical colleges have to have hospitals attached. It's
Okay.
a part, like, yeah. So all my friends, even my friends with courses like architecture, they at least get a month-long vacation.
Mm-hmm.
The most our vacations will ever be is 2 weeks. You
Right.
know, that is like once a year you get like a 2 week vacation or
Mm-hmm.
something. So it's very demanding. You know,
Right.
6, 7 hours of college, journals,
Mm-hmm.
constant exams. And it's not like a very glamorous profession. You know, people think we
It's a
make
very
money, but
thankless profession. Like
it's a very
doctors get
thankless.
beaten up for, serving people. So that's how sad
Exactly.
it is. Yeah.
It's the least, you know, like in other courses you can see people's growth, you
Mm-hmm.
can see their achievements, you can see all of that, you know. Like I look around and sometimes I feel so like all my friends are achieving stuff. Yeah, they're getting internships, they're getting jobs. Like I am still studying from a textbook and giving exams, you know. It's like I'm
Yeah.
still, but it's what it demands of you. It's what I have to, it's a very like it lot of like I said, it demands a lot of patience.
Patience. Right. Mm-hmm.
You know, like you have those moments that remind you that, okay, this is why you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's like it takes a long time to do MBBS, then do
Mm-hmm.
MD. And then it's
So,
also very isolating because you don't have the same lifestyle as your friends doing other things do. You don't
right.
get the same amount of time. You don't have that energy.
Mm-hmm.
They might have like more glamorous sort of like, and
Nowadays.
we don't.
Yeah.
It's all very dry. So yeah, it can be isolating, which is why I think doctors tend to marry doctors because it's convenient, it's comfortable. The other person understands,
Mm-hmm.
sort of what you're going through.
Right. I was going to ask, like after MBBS now, people do specialization, super specializations. So, like, what is the process for that? Like, I know there is neet-pg, which basically is for MS, I think. But even after that, like, people do oncology and all of that. So, how does that go through?
Right. So neet-pg, by the way, is not scrapped.
Okay.
This is the last year. From this year onwards, there's something called next. Very similar to neet-pg, except that neet-pg used to be conducted after your internship year. We have compulsory, our fifth year's compulsory internship.
Mm-hmm.
We have 4 years plus a compulsory internship in fifth year. So neet-pg is you have to give after your internship. That is not scrapped.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have next, very similar to neet-pg in all aspects, except you give it after your final year. That is before
Okay.
your internship.
Okay.
And a lot of good changes. Just thankful because it's
Mm-hmm.
more clinical, it's more practical based. Like
Mm-hmm.
this is what I've heard. These are not probably not my own opinions. What I've heard from my super seniors and all that they're like neet-pg was more like more Indian sort of rakta based.
Mm-hmm.
If you read the textbook 4 times, you would get it.
Yeah.
But next is a lot more application based. It's a lot more clinical.
Got it. Got it.
Overall, for my
But,
batch, I'm 2019 batch,
mm-hmm.
right? So 2019 batch, there was a radical shift. A new curriculum was introduced
Okay.
called CBME, and that with that, it's not perfect, but they're trying to make it more practical, more clinical, and less
Mm-hmm.
like rote learning based, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
It's a small change. It's slow, but it's something.
Yeah. So has it been implemented yet, or it is just theoretically being
My batch was the first batch.
okay?
First batch. Now,
So
so
this
yeah,
is
so the
NEET PG's last year. From next year, there won't be a NEET PG.
yeah. It's last main PG to be conducted.
Okay. And after PG, how like what is the like people like I've heard people doing super speciality. So do they do it here or do they have to go abroad or something like that?
So you do either a master's in surgery, or you do
Mm-hmm.
like that is MS, or you do an MD, that is
Okay.
like normal 3 year residency. So that either you get then you have MBBS, MD, or MS,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have something called a DNB,
Okay.
that is in India only, a DM, and or you could go abroad, or you could be in India. You could do fellowship, which is what
Got
you
it.
said, right? Oncology.
Mm-hmm.
So you could do a fellowship in oncology, or fellowship in, you know, endocrinology. So either
Right.
you can go abroad and do those fellowships, or you can do them here.
Okay. Okay. That's so it's basically it's like a decade of your life you're devoting to something.
Yes, yes. I think you accept it
Don't you
early
feel
on.
overwhelmed uh like you're giving away 10 years of your life to this and don't you feel overwhelmed like am I doing the right thing? Is this the right choice? How do you keep the hope alive that this is what I
See,
want to do?
I'll tell you what. Now, suddenly, if you just surprise someone with like a very shocking news,
Mm-hmm.
it will shock them. Like suddenly, if you tell someone you have to study for 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
you'll be like, no, that's crazy. I wanted to be a doctor since a long time, so I've
Mm-hmm.
accepted also since a long time. So it
Yeah.
doesn't that news that's just my normal now.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That okay, 10 years to padna. That I've accepted since so long, so it doesn't affect me
Okay.
anymore. And if you really think about it, our degrees are so valuable that in any career, if you think you
Mm-hmm.
are 28, 29 by the time you're fully settled,
Mm-hmm.
in your career. I'm
Right.
sure you people start jobs at 24, but by the time you're fully like settled, making good money, it does take you time in any career.
Mm-hmm.
This is a little bit like that,
Okay.
and you do get like right after your fellowship, you do get well settled. You do have a stable sort of life.
Yeah, the return on investment is exponential.
Yeah,
That's obviously true. But if I was that person, I wouldn't be able to commit myself for 10 years. So that
but
is
it's
what I find
also
fascinating.
not just when you when you say that 10 years of like being in college, no,
Mm-hmm.
it's not actually college.
Mm-hmm.
College is a job. Like
Right.
residents,
Yeah,
even though
yeah,
they're
yeah.
technically still learning, their
Got it.
learning is they're working only.
Mm-hmm.
So
They're
that
they're
you're
on
not
job training kind of thing.
they're not actually sitting in lectures for 10
Mm-hmm.
years.
Mm-hmm.
Out of those 10 years, for 4 years or 5 years, maybe we're in lectures. The
Okay.
remaining time, our learning is considered like our working is our learning.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, makes sense. So have you thought about what you want to do? It's early days, but
Yeah.
have you given it thought?
So it's been changing a lot
Mm-hmm.
since I was a kid. It's been changing every few years. I'll have phases. Right now, I think it might be something like either like pediatrics related,
Okay.
pediatric surgery or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it keeps changing. Like I cannot give you like, oh, this is what I will do.
But have you
Because
ruled anything
honestly,
out? Like, this is definitely something I don't want to do.
I think I don't again, I might be a completely different person in 3 years, so who knows?
Right.
But I really don't think I'm made for psychiatry
Okay.
because it takes an incredible amount of every possible value to become a
Right.
psychiatrist. I've seen
Mm-hmm.
that we have postings, right?
Yeah.
So first your psychiatric posting, I was like, oh my god, like I can't, it's I think it's incredibly difficult what they do, and I don't think I'm
Mm-hmm.
made of material that's required to be a psychiatrist. I don't
Okay.
think I'll do anything in psychiatry, but other than that, I haven't really ruled anything out because it keeps changing, and also it's so competitive
Mm-hmm.
that you really don't have the "oh, I want to be a cardiologist, I'll be a cardiologist." No,
Right.
sometimes it's just like, what am I getting?
Mm-hmm.
Am I getting? Sometimes you have like people. Someone told me that they choose to become. So I know this psychiatrist. Okay, so he actually didn't go with the intention of becoming a psychiatrist.
Mm-hmm.
He went after his second entrance exam, his
Mm-hmm.
neet-pg exam was over. He went. He was presented with, okay, look, this is what you're getting.
Mm-hmm.
There was a psychiatry spot open. He
Mm-hmm.
was just like, fine, I'll just take it. And now he loves it. It's
Okay.
not that he does. Now he's completely in love with it. But he took that because that's what he was getting, you know?
Got it. Got it.
So it's sometimes you just take what you get because even in the US, even in India, it's incredibly competitive. Sometimes you don't have that choice
Right.
unless you're like a super topper, you know?
Right.
But most of the time, you don't have that choice. So you
Mm-hmm.
take something that you get, and most of the times, I'm sure people fall in love with it.
Right. I think one, like, a deep question I had for you is, if you go back, like, let's say you rewind 3 years and you see yourself, and right now, what fundamental changes do you think you see in yourself because you took up MBBS?
Because I took up MBBS. Or are you saying fundamental changes in general, or because I took up
No,
MBBS?
like, you can attribute it to, if I had taken, let's say you had taken up architecture, you wouldn't have fundamentally imbibe these changes which you have. Like, your experiences make you think in a certain way, right? So what do you think
Yeah,
MBBS like shaped your thinking in a certain way?
I learned to see people and myself beyond academic, sort of just like success or academic marks.
Mm-hmm.
Like I saw people in day to day lives, like otherwise, because the way I was brought up, because the way I was, like my number one criteria was like, oh, I respect this person so much because they're so smart and they get these
Mm-hmm.
kind of marks. Now it's not like that. Now I like genuinely have learned to like respect and know the value of hard work, of good human beings, or just, things like that.
Okay, okay.
There's
That's
that. And I mean, I've changed in so many aspects. You
mm-hmm.
know, I'm just a different person. I not like a completely different person. I'm a more evolved person.
Yeah.
I also think that I think one really like core thing I've learned is that how people give advice
Mm-hmm.
to like, oh, do this, do that. I think that's completely just
Mm-hmm.
because everyone is so unique.
Mm-hmm.
People in my class, each of them like so unique, so their individual journey is so different,
Mm-hmm.
right from who they are to like their learning method.
Right.
Some people are visual learners. So you really can't take people's advice or give people advice because it doesn't work like that. I mean, you can give like a basic kind of advice,
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, this book is good, but not that study for these number of hours or study in this
Right.
manner because everyone is so unique and so different that
Okay.
what may apply to one person might not apply to another person. Because for a long time, I was chasing somebody else's advice,
Mm-hmm.
and then I was like, and then it like hit me. I'm completely different from this person. My strengths are completely different.
Right.
What am I doing following their advice? It's not gonna work for me, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Right.
So even right now, I
Basically,
learn to see,
there's no one size fits all kind of thing.
yeah.
Got it.
Even now, I'm telling you all of these things, but somebody else may have told you something completely different, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Right.
So and also, like I said, like respecting people, understanding, values and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just MBBS that made me do this, but just like the whole like entrance,
Right.
like my failure in the entrance to
Mm-hmm.
like match up to the standards set for me by my parents or things
Mm-hmm.
like that. And I
Got it.
learned to see people differently. And I'm glad I did because I had like this, like these goggles that I was like,
Mm-hmm.
and now I've removed them and it's so much better.
Got it. Anything else you'd like to add, like if I'm missing any point or something like that?
Like, no, not really. I may like complain about it all day, but I'm really lucky that I get to do, I
Mm-hmm.
get to do MBBS. And I'm really lucky that my parents, like, because a lot of parents are like, you have to do this. This is the career
Right.
I want you to do, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So I know people who wanted to do MBBS but couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I know people who are in MBBS
And they don't want to do it.
against their wishes, which is so bad because this is not a career you can do if you don't want to do it. You will
Yeah.
literally be so unhappy. Because right now, through all the like boring journal work, the constant exams, the constant sort of like I'm missing out on life feeling,
Mm-hmm.
through all of those bad times, I was like, but I don't care about all of that. It's fine. I can deal with it because all of this is for my purpose, for
Mm-hmm.
me becoming a doctor. It's
Right.
for my dream, and that
There is an
I'm
end
willing to
goal for
sacrifice.
you. There is an end goal for you,
It's
please.
I'm getting to achieve my dream, so I'm willing to sacrifice
Okay.
anything for it.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever comes in my way, I'll take it because that's how badly I want to be a doctor. But for
Mm-hmm.
people who don't want to be a doctor, I really don't know how they do it because it must be so tough. So I'm just really lucky that I get to do what
Mm-hmm.
I want. You know,
That's
that's
yeah,
all.
that's I feel a lot of people don't get that opportunity to do what they want. So how was your experience during the pandemic? Like your 2 years? I think almost all the 2 years must have gone. Like lectures must have been online. How was
No, no,
how
we
was
had a
that?
lot of offline college.
Okay.
Because medical colleges, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this officially, but most medical colleges had reopened in November 2020. I went to
Okay.
college in November 2020. It again shut down in the height of second wave.
Yeah.
Again, it shut down. But I'm grateful that I've had the chance to go to college. I've also had online lectures a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but I've also gotten the chance to go to college.
Mm-hmm.
Because we can't, like, our degree cannot be finished without
Yeah.
the postings, the practicals.
Right. How
Yeah,
was
but
your
2020,
mm-hmm. Go
like you
on.
asked about my pandemic experience. So
Yeah.
2020 was horrible for me. Like I said, I was diagnosed with depression
Right.
and like early on.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2020. So, but then like I could still function because I had college, I had
Right.
friends. But then 2020, when all of that was taken away, and I just had my thoughts for company,
Mm-hmm.
like that's when the severity of my mental illness really like came to the
That's when a
surface.
lot of
You know?
people came to know that they had been pushing these thoughts away. A lot of
Yeah,
people came to
exactly.
terms that I think I have this problem or I need to
Yeah.
handle this in a much better manner than what I've been doing. So there was a
So I
lot of
learned it.
wave, if you remember that better, like
Yeah,
better mental health. Reach out to
yeah.
someone if you feel you're
I
feeling
started
down.
an NGO actually plugging my
Yeah, plug
organization.
it,
I have,
plug it. Go ahead.
yeah, it's called ShanGod. I
Okay.
started it with my PSM friend, the PSM
Yeah.
doctor.
You can
Then I
plug
started
plug their name also.
yeah, it's called ShanGod. We provide free therapy.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was going through the worst of my depression, it's ironic that I found it like, work to build a NGO, but I got help for it. I'm
Right.
doing so much better now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had to work on myself. I had to get help. I had to have medications, all of that. But yeah, I got through it. And a lot of that, like, it was residual. Like, 2020, I mean, nothing actually went wrong in my life that
It
I
was all the
had severe depression.
accumulation of previous things.
Of, of neat, I would
Yeah,
say so much from neat. And, like, it was just like a domino effect. Everything that started in 12th standard that I've been, like, really ignoring, thinking about, it all
yeah,
came to light in 2020. So, yeah.
okay. You took up therapy. How was it difficult for you to make that jump, from realizing that you might need help to actually getting help? Because some people have come across, they're like, yeah, I can understand, something. I need help with this, but I'm too afraid, or there are some things in my current situation that I cannot go to someone, or it's not feasible for me. So, was it an easy process for you? There's a lot of stigma around it, that why are you seeing a
Yeah.
psychiatrist? Why are you getting help? So, was that process easy for you, or were there any hurdles?
So entirety of 12th, I didn't realize that I should have gotten help for the things I was feeling, the things I was doing to myself, like all of that. I didn't realize.
Yeah.
So then after 12th, after NEET, a month after NEET, I was like, I had a breakdown and I was like, that's it. I'm contacting a therapist. And by then my parents were like sort of on board.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, yeah, we'll like pay for it, but they still didn't completely grasp like,
Got it.
you know what, they're like, we'll pay for it, but they were still want 100% like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
we'll help you, we'll support you. So I started therapy and I continued it for a year. And for the most part, it seemed like it was working. Because,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I didn't really acknowledge like the deep rooted
Right.
issues because I had college. So like it was working. It did help me in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
And then I stopped it during the pandemic. I was like, okay, fine, like it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just got so much worse
Yeah.
that my parents were the ones. Then my parents really realized that okay, like then my parents took me to a psychiatrist. Earlier, I was with a psychologist, a counselor.
Okay.
My parents took me to a psychologist, and he gave medications, but then since then, my parents like when they saw how badly I was doing in like
Mm-hmm.
the pandemic, so then they got like, no, we need to help you. Like we'll take you. Like like
Right.
they like dragged me. They're like, you have to go.
Right.
Then
Right.
they got on board. They like understood like, okay, no, this is a real issue. It's not just like an excuse or whatever,
Props
you
to
know.
them,
So they were,
because a lot of parents feel it's just a waste of money. So
yeah. So I'm really lucky that even though it doesn't matter, it took them time, but
they
they got
came
on
around to
board.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. So I think I have a couple of few fun questions now. Uh,
All right. Fun.
like, first of all, Wordle. How is it? Like, I don't understand it. I have not played it at all.
You
But
haven't. You have to.
I have not played it. Someone bought, New York Times bought it for like $1 million.
Bottle. Yeah.
So I have not played it yet, but what is the craze? Like, help me make sense of what is going on.
It's addicting. It's fun, and you have this feature where you can like. So the cool part is it's the same puzzle for everyone in the world. You
Okay.
know.
Mm-hmm.
We were like, so my friends group, a lot of us are scattered, but we
Mm-hmm.
still do the Wordle every day.
Right.
And we
Okay.
like it has that share option, like how I like tweet it my
Mm-hmm.
Wordle every
Yeah.
day, and a lot of people do. You can also share it on WhatsApp. So
Mm-hmm.
my friend group, we like do it every night,
Okay.
and it's just fun. Now it's something I really look forward to. Like now it's like it's past 12, so I'll have a new Wordle waiting for me.
Got it.
Now it's just like a fun thing to look forward to, especially when like times are you don't have a lot to look forward to with the third wave and like you're not going out anywhere. It's
Mm-hmm.
like small things. You need to keep small things
Mm-hmm.
that you have to look forward to.
Is it just like Scrabble? Like,
No. It's completely different.
okay, I'll have to check it out then. I have to play it now. I'm
You
getting
have to
major
play it.
FOMO now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I started on day 210 and I think it's day 234 now.
Do you know
I
the
haven't missed a
story?
single
Like,
day.
the story is so sweet. So I was reading about it.
I know.
So this guy, like, his girlfriend was going to give some exam or something, and she needed help with all these words and vocabulary, I think. So he just made a game and, put it up online.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was just for his girlfriend to keep her practicing daily. And it
Yeah.
just gained traction and people started playing. And he made
Hmm.
like $1 million, how much ever money he made.
A lot of money.
Yeah. So yeah, that highlighted that, if you even if you are passionate about something and you go into something with that passion, you are bound, like, you will get successful. But if you go in something with the approach to make money, more often than not, it might fail. So I feel that
Yeah, that's
was
the first thing. That's the first thing they told us. First day of MBBS,
what.
that if you are here to make
Hmm.
money, then I mean just like leave, because that you're not
Should
gonna
should
get
I
that.
should I become a professor in your college?
They literally said that if you are here with the idea that you'll become a doctor and you'll make money, you should just, this is not for you, because that's not how it's gonna work out, you
Hmm.
know. So
Yeah.
first thing, I kid you not, I'm not exaggerating. First day of MBBS, this is what they tell you, that don't
I
be here if you're here
uh,
to make money.
I think I'm going to apply to a few colleges now.
Do that.
And what has been going on recently? Like, what shows or what movies have you been? Obviously, it's been a tough time for you. So what's keeping you distracted right now?
What's keeping me distracted? Not a lot, actually. I mean, normally I have like 100 hobbies,
Oh,
but
100 hobbies. Those are a lot to keep
okay,
track of.
that's an exaggeration. But I love reading, painting, dancing, you name it. Like I love doing it. But currently, I'm just like not in the mood to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
First 2020, if you saw me, I was like doing a new painting. I was like trying my hand at cooking. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, even though I was going through so much on the surface, I'm sure people thought I was like having a gala time with a new painting every day. And that's how fake social media is.
Mm-hmm.
But now, no, now the past week I've just been rewatching the same show for the 10th time,
Which
because
one?
that's what gives you comfort. Uh, I either watch Gilmore Girls
Which one?
or Gilmore Girls.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
I either watch Gilmore Girls or I watch Grey's Anatomy.
What is it with
Or
med students and Grey's Anatomy? Like, okay,
it's
I
not
get
a
it. I get it. Like, you are doing medicine. Do you always have to be
no, but it has
obsessed with?
nothing to do. I don't think Grey's Anatomy has any kind of like resemblance
I
with
know,
like
but
actual
it has
medicine.
12 seasons. I don't understand. It is still going
18,
on, right?
18 seasons.
18 seasons. I don't know why people are still interested. But
Yeah.
anyway, that's
Honestly, I haven't seen. I've just seen like the first
okay.
10 or so. Then I haven't. I'm not a much of a binge. I've seen very few shows. I don't have patience to like watch a lot of shows. I'm a very impatient person. So yeah, I've been rewatching the same shows. Then I like reality TV because it's so like
Oh,
trashy and so
okay.
like,
Trash TV
you
is
know,
good TV. Yeah.
yeah, it's like a guilty pleasure. It's like an escape. It's so nonsensical that it's
Mm-hmm.
fun. So sometimes I like follow up on reality TV and stuff. The
Oh,
Bachelor.
okay, okay. That's nice. I was watching Too Hot to Handle on Netflix.
Oh,
And
I
if
haven't
you
seen that. How is it?
it's okay-ish. It's like you put a bunch of like good looking
I know
people.
the premise. I
Yeah,
know the
and then
premise, but
you tell them, yeah, so it's like they're going to do it, they're going to lose money. But then there is no genuine connection, I feel, in that. It's just for
yeah,
the show. So at reality TV, yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good sometimes.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess. And what books have you been reading? Your favorite author growing up or something like that?
Growing up, I was a crazy reader,
Were
like
you?
crazy.
I was as
Huh?
well. I was as well,
Yeah, yeah.
but it kind of got left out in after 10th standard.
Then again, 12th me, there was a phase where I was just like, I just need to read because everything else is so shit. And then the last 2 years, I haven't read as much as I've wanted to. 2021, particularly, not really at all. 2020, again in the pandemic, I was reading a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, my problem is that I've started so many books, but I haven't finished any of them.
Same. I'm reading four
So,
books right now. I'm in the middle of four books at a time.
oh my god.
And I
So,
don't remember what is going on in any of them.
Marcus Zusak is my favorite author. The author of the book Thief.
Yeah, I know.
If you've read, yeah. So uh, he's one of my favorite authors. So I'm reading his like latest book called Bridge of Clay. That's what I'm reading currently.
Okay.
But mainly my agenda this year is to just finish all the books I started. That's all. Not start anything new. Finish everything I've started.
Yeah, I hope I finish them too. Let's
Mhm.
let's come back at the end of the year and see did we
Yeah,
finish or not.
and like keep each other accountable. Like, hey,
Yeah,
did
yeah,
you actually?
obviously. Yeah. We'll send across a list of books and then we
Yeah.
have to give an account at the end of the year.
Yes, hundred
So,
percent.
yeah, so what's been your favorite social media platform recently? Because I see a lot of tweets. So has it shifted to Twitter? How long have you been on Twitter?
Possibly. Been since 2019, but wasn't really active till
Okay,
like I don't even remember. Active for the past year maybe. See,
okay.
I love expressing my opinions and all of that things. Like I love telling people this is what I think. Not in like a way that you have to think about it.
Uh-huh.
I just like saying it.
Right.
And Twitter and also Twitter is just like my own like record
It's
of
your
like,
personal
oh
library. Yeah.
yeah, it's my personal and like it's more free because I have like very few followers, out of which even less who I actually know in real life.
Hmm.
So it's just fun, to like
You
maybe
don't
like
have to
out
put
of
up a
like
pretense or you don't have to
at
please
all.
anyone.
Yeah, so yeah, probably. And I also like yeah, no, it's mainly Twitter.
Is like unhinged tweeting, is it a good coping mechanism? Like going crazy while tweeting, does it help people? Because I'm seeing
um,
an increasing pattern, like people
I
just,
think it does help people because I've seen people do that a lot too. Like I used to think my tweets were a lot, and then I saw some people and I was like, oh my god,
yeah, they tweet
that is
like
a lot.
10 tweets in the space of 5 minutes. I'm like,
Yeah,
wow, that's pretty.
maybe it does. Maybe it's sort of like like some even like journaling. Why is journaling nice? Because it gets things off your mind, off your chest.
Hmm.
So Twitter is like a form of journaling in that way. You're getting things off your chest. So I guess that's how it helps people. Like it's out
Right.
there, you've said it, you've typed it, so
Hmm.
it's a little bit less heavy on you.
Right. So you agreed to do this via Twitter. So I think my final questions or while wrapping up, how was your experience?
Doing the podcast?
Yeah, or even the process before. Like, did you find it okay? Some weird, creepy guys in my DMs, and he's
No,
asking me
no.
if it's okay to do an interview with him. Yeah. So how was your experience?
Firstly, I wouldn't, I think it's on the vibe. Like you just know whether a person
Yeah.
has like creepy intentions or genuine intentions. So like obviously I got the vibe. I was like, okay, you know,
Mm-hmm.
never got like a creepy vibe at all. Because you just know sometimes.
Right.
you know. And I was really excited because, yeah, I like podcasts all around, but somehow I'd never done one for someone who loves to talk so much. So yeah, it was super fun. All of my closest friends they've been hearing, oh, I'm like gonna do a podcast or like my family and
Hmm.
but yeah,
So when are you launching your own podcast?
I should, right?
You probably should.
But I should, but um I don't know. I
Maybe
maybe I
after
should, I
some
don't know.
time. Maybe once you've got
Maybe
it.
after some time.
Hmm.
I'm not good with editing.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's not that
so
much of work. Like, it's okay.
really?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
It's
then I
pretty
might
easy.
give it I might
Yeah.
give it another thought because my main thing was that dude, I would have definitely started a YouTube channel a
Even
long time
me,
ago.
you know what the story is? So I started a YouTube channel in 2013, okay? And I made a
Mhm.
video with my friend. And at that time on YouTube, these challenge videos used to do really well, okay?
Mhm.
Eating a chili or doing this, doing that. So basically, we were at my place and we did some stupid trick shots with a football. And whoever couldn't do it had to eat a chili. So I edited all that footage. And at that time, I used to use the home laptop. I didn't have my own
Haha.
device. So I had saved it on there. So my mom came in, she's like, what have you done? What is this? I'm like, I was going to post it to YouTube. I made a channel with my friends. She's like, no, no, do you know they can misuse this and it's not good for you. So yeah, that 2013 ka my personal goal, I'm doing it right now. So you can do it too.
Oh. I'm just not. I've tried my hand at editing. It's way too much for me. So I would have definitely. I love YouTube. Like when you have social media, I would say Twitter. And growing up, like I've loved YouTube.
Who was your
So and
favorite
I love.
YouTuber?
So I had phases, yeah. Now if I give you a real answer, no, you'll be like
Current,
really like
current, current.
current.
Current and all
Oh
time. All time and current. There must be an all time, right?
no, there isn't because I. No, yeah. Somehow there isn't because I had phases. There was like I was really into those lifestyle DIY like
Okay.
Bethany Mota,
Hmm.
Zoella. Like
You
my
you
friends from
watch
9th and 10th.
Zoella? You watch Zoella?
Yeah, I
Oh
used to watch
God.
Zoella a lot. There's a Emma Chamberlain phase. Like I think every girl has had an Emma Chamberlain phase. Then then am I allowed to say Niga Higa? Because now the word
Yeah,
like
yeah, you're allowed to say. Yeah.
yeah, I loved Niga Higa. Big fan. I've seen all of his videos, shown them to my friends and my cousins. Like, oh, watch this. It's so funny.
Yeah, he
Watch
was
this.
really funny. I think he started the
Yeah,
whole sketch, like making sketches on YouTube.
yeah. He was the OG
Yeah.
of the karate one was one of his.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
Uh,
So those
hmm.
were like the OGs, and now I don't have like one person I watch. Now it's more like Curtis Corner.
Yeah,
I
I
really
know.
enjoy watching Curtis
Yeah, I know
Corner, Joe
Curtis.
Budden, all of them. But other than them, it's now I just randomly go on like this thing and watch like funny edits
Okay.
and things like that.
Got it, got it.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Yeah, so coming back to the main thing, how was your experience?
It was awesome. I love talking. I will definitely like take away like how fun podcasts are, and how I would also like love like interviewing because I love getting to know people,
Mm-hmm.
meeting new people. So like right now you're interviewing me. I was a total stranger to you before this, but like
Right.
now you know so much about me. So
Mm-hmm.
I would like to be in your shoes and like interview people like little strangers and like get to know stuff about them because it's so cool, just getting to know people, learning their stories, because yeah, that doing that. So really fun experience. I'm glad I did it.
Thank you. I
And
had
it
a
was
great,
also something to look forward to. Like genuinely, like thanks for this because, like I said, I had a tough week, and it just really gave me something to look forward to.
I hope
You
it was pretty chill and not very, you know, very
Yeah,
heavy.
yeah, 100%. It was so fun.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Even I had a great time. I hope my questions were appropriate or not too dumb because I don't think there is a
Yeah,
dumb
they were
question.
great.
But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like you
So
should become a teacher. All teachers, good teachers do say that there's nothing as
no,
such
I
as a
have
dumb
learned that from
question.
personal experience because I was the kid who would never ask a question. So I have faced a
Oh,
lot of challenges. So yeah,
because you thought they were dumb.
yeah, I thought they were dumb. I had a lot of,
Okay.
I still have social anxiety, but I always used to think that, people will make fun of me. So I think I lost a lot of, while growing up, I lost a lot of experiences because I
I
was
was the
thinking.
opposite. I was the annoying kid who like, just like, can she stop asking questions? She's extending
I
class.
was that I used to ask my mom a lot of questions, but then my mom just got fed up of me. And then she's like, don't ask so many questions. I don't have the answers to all of them. And then gradually I stopped asking a lot of questions. But yeah, I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun doing this.
Same, same.
And would like we can catch up soon when things are better, hopefully.
Yes, definitely.
And
Definitely.